Welcome to the Rocket Launcher podcast. This is episode 161. I am your host, Supreme King. Join with me, as always, is my co-host, and his name is...
It's your guy Amazes.
How's it going, man? How's everything going with you?
And so I like the cold over the heat, but it's too cold. It's disrespectful at this point.
Cold over the heat. I'm kind of prepared for it. Actually, I isolated one of the windows, and it kind of it cut it down a lot, actually. And I just ordered like one of these like robes. That's like it's like a hoodie robe, but it's like really insulated. I thought it looked cool. So I was like, let me get one of those. I ain't had a robe in like God knows how long, but I kind of needed a regular robe anyway. When you get out the shower, that type of thing. But I got like one of them like insulated robes that I ordered. That should come here to sometime next week. But anyways, big show. It shouldn't be too long. My apologies for last week. My co-host was talking way too long about, I don't know what he was talking about. Went way too long. This week we ain't gonna go that long. I promise you.
Yeah, okay, that was me. You spent 20 minutes on Kirby Air Raid. That was you.
Yeah, it was clearly my co-host's fault. Y'all can rewind the tape. But right now we're gonna talk about a bunch of different gaming shows. But before we do, I would like for my co-host to introduce us to this gaming footage. This is Skate. I don't believe it was shown on the podcast before. A lot of people are familiar with it, but just go ahead and give us some impressions, or if you've already finished it or something, like review it, whatever you want. Go ahead.
It is good if you're looking for just like a skateboarding game that you know you're gonna play for like a little bit here and there, and then pop back in. It does stick to, for the most part, the Skate formula, and what I mean by that is the two, of course, was always Tony Hawk versus Skate. Tony Hawk was very over the top, and you're like doing a bunch of flips midair, where Skate was a lot more realistic in skateboarding. And what it looks like, it did get a little more cartoonish, just a little bit, but like not enough to where it doesn't still again feel like Skate. The graphics look a lot more cartoonish, like it's leaning a lot more towards a Fortnite-y thing than the more gritty, again, realistic look that the old Skates had. You could already see where they were going to start throwing in some microtransactions with like outfits and all that other stuff. But if you're just looking for like purely just, I want to skate around for like a good maybe like 30 minutes to an hour and then go do something else, then it's a pretty good game, especially for being free. Yeah, so it was decent.
Free? So was this on, or where did you play it?
I played this on PC, but I have it on PlayStation.
Okay, so it's probably everywhere but Switch, or maybe Switch 2 It might have it, but
no, I think it's everywhere but Switch.
Okay, well that's cool. That's cool for a lot of people if you want to, play a skate game. I do know, Tony Hawk is the name brand, but there are some alternatives. I remember seeing a few different skate, like they were like Skate 1, Skate 2, Skate 3, last generation, if I'm not mistaken, a bunch of different
Skate 3
ones.
was pretty top tier. Personally, I really like that, especially because, like I said, if I would have like Skate 3 and then a Tony Hawk game, so if I wanted to be all over the top, unrealistic, just super like crazy fun, breaking through glass and skating on helicopter wings, like I would play Tony Hawk. If I wanted to just feel more like a gritty, going around town skateboarding in a natural neighborhood, then I played Skate.
Okay. Well, we're gonna transition to one of the first shows. There was actually, funny enough, it wasn't really announced. They just kind of popped up a bunch of shows. A lot of people came out with shows to piggyback off of the Game Awards, really try to get their name out there, the game out there, that type of thing. And then there was a couple of them in there where it was just like, well, what was the point of this show? But we'll get to it. I just wanted to mention, before we get into it, go search a game called God Slayer. I had wrote down as a topic the God Slayer gameplay, but obviously with so much going on that we probably just won't talk about it. But definitely go search that. Go look it up. I thought it was pretty nice. I think I wish listed on both Steam and the consoles after I saw it. But yeah, we can move forward to the first show, which I thought was a very good show. It was one of the earliest ones, but it ran a little long. It's called the Best Indie Games Winter Showcase 2025, and a lot of these do have long names. But yeah, that was like one of the earliest ones. Um, and I think this one was like 3-ish hours, if I'm not
Yep,
mistaken.
sure was.
Um, yeah, my co-host insured me. He insured me, ladies and gentlemen, that he watched each show second by
I
second.
straight up said I wasn't watching each show,
He
and
said,
there's two of them I ain't watch.
"Why you ain't watch?" Listen, man. I was looking. I was in the system. I was looking for his gameplay too. I was like, "You got." They went there. They talked about Resident Evil. I was like, "Okay, cool." So I'm gonna get his Resident Evil 7 footage real quick. So when we get to that portion, and I didn't even see it, man. I was like, "Where the Resident Evil 7 footage, man? Why you ain't got the Resident Evil 7 footage? You promised the
Because I ain't
people."
play Resident Evil 7.
Listen, all right.
You promised the
Let's
people. I
get
ain't promised the people.
let's
I
get
ain't
back
play.
on track, man. See what I'm saying? This is why the shows be going too long. You be talking about the shows going so long. It's like 6 minutes. We were supposed to be on this in 5 minutes. Okay.
I'm gonna load
Uh, listen, the best indie games winter showcase was one of my favorites. Actually, it had a lot of stuff that I wrote down. There were some, repeats here and there. But I enjoy most of it. There was some stuff that I think mainly, I mean, obviously because it's indie, a lot of it was all like 2D stuff, but there was some 3D stuff as well. But the first game that I actually liked that I wrote down was called Being and Becoming. So 2D Metroidvania, and it had like a weird dude with a helmet on that had like a chain that was like at the end of it was like a knife or sharp object on it. I think it was the first game that they showed. Um, and I wish listed, but did you see that one? Is that was something you liked, or did you
I saw
uh
it. I didn't write it down.
say it again?
It just, I saw it. I didn't write it down.
You
I
ain't
only
write it
wrote
down?
down games from this one.
4 games. All right, what's the first one then?
The first one I wrote down was Bakudo. It was basically like arms, but like they were like almost like a dodgeball sort of thing. It was like a fusion between that game Arms and then that dodgeball game, Knockout.
All right. The second one that I actually had was called 13Z. This one we've
I
seen a
wrote
few
that one
times
down too.
before. Yeah, we've seen this one a few times before. It's a 3D slasher. It claims to have co-op and a demo that you can try, and the demo itself has co-op with it. So they put that in there for everybody to check out. Um, but yeah, we've seen that on like a couple earlier shows. But that's something you looking forward to, the 13Z.
Yeah, that one looks good. Sharp gameplay. It's a cool looking co-op game. It look pretty cool.
All right. The next one that I have was one of my highlights of this one. Hell Reaper. Still a 2D slasher, but it's like the character kind of looked like like a Grim Reaper, Dark Maul kind of person. Really, just a all dude dressed in all black with the black hoodie, slashing away. 2D Metrovania style. I just thought it looked dope. I thought it looked a little bit better than some of the other ones. Hell Reaper. That's the one I wrote down. I'll do another one since you ain't got that many. Catherine Dro Crow's Curse. I think I said that right.
Okay.
Still same stuff, 2D slasher. But this one they switched it up. So instead of you being with a black hoodie person, I think this one had like a green hoodie dude, almost like the sword that he was using reminded me of Zelda and Link. So it looked like they took some inspiration from Link as a character, but just put the hoodie over his face so you couldn't see him. And the sword kind of looks similar to the Master Sword if it was like the Teen Link holding it. I thought it was dope. And then I'll do one more real quick. Shadow Pond or Shallow. I'm sorry, Shallow Pond. It's a 3D platformer going away from the 2D formula. And it has a demo if anybody wants to check it out. I'm really happy to see like a platformer show up every now and then. You know what I mean? Platformers. I always have a soft spot in my heart for a platformer. But yeah, that one. Any more? Was it? You had one more.
Two more. So I had
All right.
Voidling Bound
All
was a
right.
game. It looked like it was like some dude collecting like alien, pretty much Pokemon, but then you pick one and you're that Pokemon running around doing the like hack and slash like adventure like action adventure gameplay as you like go through, and it's almost like a puzzle
Mm-hmm.
platformer, but it's like you have to pick which monster you're gonna be as you go. And then it's still like monster collecting. So it seemed like a
Okay.
cool fusion of stuff.
All
And then I
right.
also had Lost Castle 2. Um, which I now remember what it was. What was Lost Castle? Oh, it was that was right. It was the 2D beat 'em up
Mm-hmm.
roguelike where it looks like it's like the 2D screen, and you're going through just kind of fighting a bunch of enemies with like a team. So it's either yourself or up to four, and it's like hack and slash as you're going through, and the characters look pretty cool.
All right. Pretty dope. So, Belinda. It was another game that I had. Or Belinda. This one looks similar to Diablo to me. It's not as dark as Diablo, but it was definitely that type of format when it came to gameplay. I wrote that down. Sova action roguelike. It looked a little bit like Hades. Um, I took a liking to that. Black Blade Revenant. Um, that one, your typical Souls like. But I thought it looked dope. And then this one actually, the second highlight. I have three highlights for this particular one, but Bark. I think it's called Bark Core or Bark. It's the dog game. Did you see that? It was a dog action game, and they claimed they had a demo for it. And this is like the first
Okay.
of the two dog games that I saw. And I'm not really too much of a dog person, but for a while I was wondering, would somebody say we need to have a dog game? Because there was like a whole bunch of cat games for the last year and a half, but I didn't
Yeah.
see any dogs, and I was wondering like, were they gonna do it? And this is one of the first ones that I saw. Um, so yeah, Bark Hour. Definitely check that one out. Standard dog doing dog stuff in a dog world, I guess. And then it's back to my usuals. Grim Trials, 2D hack and slasher. I love them. A game called Rivals of Ether 2. I didn't really care too much about it. I just wanted to highlight it because it looked like almost exactly like Super Smash Brothers, and I thought maybe people might want to look into it if they wanted an alternative. Maybe they were sick of Smash. There's no mention of a new Smash or anything yet, but maybe they can jump on this in the meantime.
Sick
Um,
of Smash is a crazy statement. I don't think people get sick of
Sick
Smash.
of it? Yeah, I don't know. We'll
Never
see.
heard of that.
We'll see. It depends on the person, I guess. But yeah, people. No one's ever gonna be sick of Melee. That's the go-to one, But Melee and Ultimate, I think people let Brawl like calm down, but Melee and Ultimate is still their main ones. Um, there was another one. Did I write this date? Owl's Loop. Um, 2D action roguelike also has a demo. Go take a look at that. And then Edenfall Legacy of the First Wardens. This one is more of a 3D action adventure. This was my last highlight. Because I actually, for the bigger ones, I didn't tell you ahead of time. I was like, if you got more than three things I was gonna say, what was your top three highlights? But that's my last one. And then I wrote down one last game, which I think was their final game, which they called Mexican Ninja.
Yeah.
Um,
I didn't
that
write it down because I already had it wish listed and things like that, but that's what I'm looking forward to as well.
okay. Um, yeah, that was the last thing I had on here. I think I had wrote it down a previous time too, but I wrote it here again, just because I thought the name was kind of funny. But the highlights overall for me: Hell Reaper, Barkar, the dog game, and then Edenfall: Legacy of the First Wardens. And I think you said you only have 4 games, so I don't know if you really need to say what's a highlight. But real
Uh,
quick, oh yeah, go ahead if you do.
well, I was just gonna say instead of 3 highlights, I'll just do the top one. And the top one looked like 13Z, like a
Okay.
cool just co-op game.
All right. Real quick, footage on the screen. Astrobot. This is my version of Astrobot. The footage did not work last week, if I'm not mistaken. It was raw footage, and I do know like certain formats coming from PlayStation is just rough on this computer. So, here it is. It was re-rendered on my streaming PC. So no screen tearing. Um, but yeah, man. Astrobot. You know what I want to say, man? Every time I played this, I was just like, I just want to put this down and play Black Myth Wukong. I couldn't even
And
explain
you
it.
should have. And
I
you
just
should have
want to
done
put.
that. I
I just,
personally enjoyed it. You're not about the best game. If you wanted to play Black Myth, go ahead and play Black Myth. Ain't nobody making you play Game of the Year.
I was
If
just
you want to
like,
play second,
why am I
if you want to
playing
play
this, man?
second place,
Uh,
you go ahead and play second place.
Listen, I played this game with the DualSense Edge controller. You know, the word on the street is like you don't really experience the best of this game unless you play with the DualSense Edge controller. I'm just telling you
I
what
never heard
the streets is
that. I've
saying.
never heard the streets say that.
But
Okay.
yeah, that's what I did. You know, so yeah, I got the game up and running. You know, here it is if y'all care. But let's get back on topic. Um, so yeah, that was the best indie games winter showcase. One of the ones that I had the most, write downs for. Um, but the very next one, that I actually wanted to put on here, 11-bit Studios Digital Showcase
Yeah,
2025. Like I said, they got a lot of long names, but yes,
I watched
11-bit.
that one.
And how you feel about that one, man?
Yeah, I had 0.
Why you ain't got nothing for man? Why you
I didn't want
disrespecting the
anything
people?
from it.
You ain't want
No,
nothing from
if
it,
you
man.
wanted stuff, all good. You go ahead. I
Well,
wanted nothing from it.
I actually didn't have anything either, but I was just trying to make sure at least my
Oh,
co-host had something.
oh, okay.
But
Oh, okay.
it was there. I still watched the show. You know, it was a decent show for what it was. But yeah, I didn't necessarily grab anything, unfortunately. So I guess we can move on. See, I told you. See, when I'm talking, we get through this fast. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
just
I
like how
don't even
you
know.
wasted more time.
Listen, all right, listen. We moving
Yep.
on
There you go.
to the PC Gaming Showcase Most Wanted
Yeah,
2025.
one of the
This
two I
one.
didn't watch.
What you mean you ain't watched this one? Had the most
I didn't
stuff.
watch
What
this
you
one.
mean?
Yeah, I know, because it was 3 hours long. So here's the thing.
What you mean you ain't watch it?
Let me explain. So when watching these game shows, because there was like 9 different game shows, way too many in a week, along with the Game Awards, I'm over here watching 2 or 3 simultaneously, and now I can't really pick up on stuff because I'm not wired to sit here and do that. So with 2 of the like there was 3 different shows that were maxing out at almost 3 hours long. I watched one of them. I ain't watched the other 2. So it was this and Slitherine one. I was like, I want to actually watch the most wanted games and not have to try and just speed through it as a checklist. And I didn't have time to watch it, so it got put on the back burner.
What you mean you had time to watch it? You supposed to take off work.
Oh,
I had listen, ladies and gentlemen. I was dedicated. You know what I'm saying. I watched it.
yeah,
I ain't had
you
to take
talk
off
about it.
work. I did my part. You know what I'm saying. I understand y'all wanted the Resident Evil footage. You know what I'm saying. Y'all want to see his input on some of these shows.
There were
My
10 game shows, 4 of which, if you include the Game Awards, 4 of which were more than 2 hours long. It's good. It's fine. That's too many. That is absolutely too many in a week. That's my big issue.
You're supposed to just you're supposed to take off work, man. You gotta be
Oh,
dedicated.
you go ahead and we'll talk about
Dedicated
what
to.
games did you want. What games
Listen,
did you want from the show?
I cannot believe you just didn't do this. This is shocking, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot believe.
I full said to you I wasn't watching all of them.
Why did you watch? This is the main one you were supposed to watch. It's the PC gaming show, the most wanted showcase, man. This is. Oh my god. Man. Oh, all right. The people. We gonna have to we gonna have to reevaluate this person on my call. All right. Let me we'll discuss you later, I guess. All right. There was a game that I wrote down that was called Soul Shogunate. It was a action RPG space samurai game. It was a bunch of samurai, or not samurai, space-ish stuff later on as we go through these showcases, but this is one of the first ones. I thought it was dope. You know what I mean? I had to write this one down. Another one that I actually thought was a highlight was a game called Ferocious. This one is a first-person shooter that got dinosaurs in it. Every now and then you shoot at a couple dinosaurs, but then you can kind of, recruit a few of them as well, and they like you work with them and everything, and they on your side. Weird, but I thought it was dope. Yeah, they actually showed. This is one of the first times that we've seen Lego Batman. Lego Batman shows up a bunch of times. But I was like, oh, cool, his Lego Batman is back. I thought it was dope. Another game, not to be confused with the Hell Reaper from before, but Hellraiser Revival. This is the game that's still based on the movie series from way back in the day. Hellraiser with Pinhead, the ball guy with all the pins, and then the little Rubik's Cube thing that opens the portal to hell. That made an appearance. I thought it was dope. Not really too into those versions of horror games, but this is one of them that I will check out at some point. We funny enough seen on this show the return of Marvel Blade, which I thought maybe they would have saved that type of thing for like one of the main shows, but Blade shows up. Nothing really. It was pretty much the same as before. I'm still excited to play Blade, but it was pretty much the same as before. The next game, which I think was mentioned on other shows as well, but I put as a highlight, Marvel Token Fight Souls. Interesting take on the Marvel franchise as a fighting game. I thought it looked dope, pretty dope here. PC gaming show had a lot of things going forward that they were calling like the top 10 most wanted titles. Similar to like your most anticipated games coming out. And so afterwards they were showing things like Omnimushi Way of the Sword, Resident Evil 9, Control 2. I think they didn't really they showed Control 1's footage and was talking Control 2. But Control 2's actual footage was shown in the Game Awards itself. GTA 6, they've funny enough, they had some old footage that I thought maybe they could have edited, because when they were showing GTA 6, it flashed the old release date, which I believe was like May 26, 2026, which I believe has been updated to November 2026, and nobody thought to fix that before putting it in this package, but I thought that was kind of silly. And also on this show, GTA 6 was considered the sixth most wanted game. They didn't put it as number one. Some of these other ones on here was like higher. Splitgate, they was showing off Splitgate, saying that it's being reworked into this new version that's supposed to come out December 17th. And they put that as more anticipated than GTA. They also put the 007 game that comes out March 27th, 2026 as a higher spot than GTA as well. And their number one most wanted game was actually Slay the Spire 2. Um,
Interesting.
and I just kind of looked at it. I didn't really care too much for that, but that was
Well, I mean,
considered
I'm
theirs.
looking forward to it. I just wouldn't say it's my top game. I'm looking forward to, but I like to Slay the Spire one.
Shout out to the game Halloween. I think I just missed that. That was in here. And yeah, so like the second half of it, they were showing a lot of what everybody's already seen before. Because they were doing their top most wanted lists. Yes. But it was a dope show. I enjoyed the show. Unfortunately, you know, for the people out there, I do apologize. You can't get full perspective from both ends. You know, maybe we'll do better next time. I apologize for y'all. But anyways, that was the PC gaming show. The next show, um, chronological order technically. Upload VR Showcase Winter 2025. Did you see this one?
Yep.
You saw this one. You watched the VR showcase, and you all got
I
a
just
VR.
threw them up in an order, and I was just clicking through. I put 4 on the screen, double speed, watched, and then when I got to the final 2 that was in my tabs, it was the PC and the Slitherine. They were also both 3 hours long, and I had to go. So I was like, I ain't got time for this. I just walked away.
Listen, man, you supposed to watch this at regular speed, second by second. You
If
gotta
they
listen.
don't
You gotta
release
listen to
10
all
shows
of
in
it.
a week, if they don't release 10 shows in a week, I would.
This
That's
is
my issue. Like, don't release that many. I'm not
listen.
trying to watch all of it. Like, and especially because half of it was a repeat as well. Like, a 3 hour show, and you mentioned 6 games, and some of it was a repeat. That's an issue. Like, that's too long for a week.
Listen.
Like, if it was the only thing that released this week, cool. But you released a 3 hour show during the same week as the Game Awards? Like, that's a horrible idea.
Listen, listen. This is supposed to be your most number one thing you gotta do, man.
Right, okay.
During the week, everything you gotta put
VR
everything
showcase.
back.
VR showcase.
The VR showcase, man, one of the best VR showcases of all time. Wouldn't you agree?
It was okay.
It was okay. All right, man. What was the games that you liked on this showcase?
All right, so I wrote down it was like Cyber Drifter, which just looked like it looked like Tron, basically. It looked like what they wanted Tron to be for gamers, but VR didn't exist, right? So you had the like Tron cycles, and you're like shooting, like instead you had like the guns instead of the laser disc. But it just looked like Tron, so that looked pretty cool. Men in Black Most Wanted. It's Men in Black. Like of course I was gonna get written down. So that looked pretty cool. And then they had a pirate game where you're like platforming and running around and being a pirate called Pirates VR. Those are the 3 that I got out of it. Still not gonna get a VR headset though, but
Why you ain't gonna get a
look,
VR headset? How you gonna play these 3 games, man?
I don't plan to. They just look good. If I somehow managed to, just like somebody was like, "Here's a free VR headset," and I just had one, that might be something I look into. But like again, I don't plan on getting one.
Wasn't you playing Resident Evil in VR?
Nope. I tried Resident Evil and I had borrowed a friend's VR. 2 separate things.
Oh my gosh. All right. I had to I highlighted a game that I actually had on the wish list before. Street Gods is the name of it, but it quite literally was VR Thor. You had this hammer that had electricity powers. You throw it, it comes back to you. You know, they even mentioned in the game itself that you are a god, basically. And so I was like, all right, maybe they're teetering across the line. And it's probably possible that they don't even Marvel doesn't even know about this, but
Marvel doesn't own Thor.
they don't own
Thor is
Thor.
Thor. they own Chris Hemsworth in that Marvel version
Oh yeah,
of
you're
Thor
right.
and
You're right.
the
You're
Hydra.
right.
They don't own the Thor character.
You're right. You're right. I don't know why.
So
Well,
as
why they
long as you
couldn't?
don't give them a red cape and you're like not in New York saving
They might
people,
as well have called it Thor then, if that's the case. Because I don't
could
know
have.
why it could be the Street Guys, but it comes out December 18th. I actually do think this might end up being my first VR game that I would play because it actually is listed as just $20.
Okay.
So I do want to take advantage of the VR headset the way it is intended. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get it, and I'm probably not gonna play it until March though, because I have a certain list of stuff. But yeah, I think this might end up being my first VR game because that Batman one was like 50. I was like, I don't even know if I want to commit to it because I don't even know if I'm committed to like VR like that, where I want to stop the other stuff and play it as the top game. But I could throw this in there. But yeah, that was one of them. The other one I've actually wrote down before as well was called VR Giants. VR Giants was they have the tagline David and Goliath, but there's like this really big titan that's like helping create the platforms for the little kid character to jump forward and stuff. And they claim that you could do like a co-op kind of thing too with that. Um, but I thought it was unique. I was like, you know what? The VR is what makes it pop for me, so that might be something that I'll check out later. The Street Guys got my full attention when it comes to VR. That's actually one of the main VR titles that I look like that looks good enough where I really want to play it. Basically, when I play VR stuff. But that was it. That's all I had for the VR
What you
showcase. I
mean
didn't
that's all
have
you had? You the one
listen.
with a VR headset.
You the
This is
one.
your
Listen,
show.
but you the
This
one.
is your show.
What you talking about, man? This is listen.
I
This is
was
supposed to
like,
be
he
both
gonna
of our
spend,
shows.
I
This
thought he was gonna spend so much time on VR. Let me actually pay attention to this show real quick.
listen.
And it was one of the first ones that I like went through, so it made it easier to actually pay attention. But I thought this was your show. Like you was supposed to have, like you was supposed to be like,
Listen.
I want all of it. That's what you was supposed to do.
Listen. I need you to be watching everything, man. We promised the people. Okay. So, anyways, please tell me this monstrosity of a game that you was playing on here, which I believe is called Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. What
Yeah,
is this on
Tab.
my screen?
So this is a ridiculous game. Basically, it drops you into a scenario, and you have like a bunch of like different like types of soldiers and the mammoth and things like that, and you have so many points, so you could like a regular soldier is worth like 10 points and blah blah blah, and you could like put out as many like the mammoth is worth like 200, and you have 300 that you could spare. So you try and make like an army, like as you see me placing, and then there's another army on the other side, and then it's whichever army wins as they like run at each other with Fall Guys physics, because they're just all like randomly sloppy, just fall around and everything. And the whole point is trying to place yours so you win in one of those
Are
types.
you the elephant? Are you the elephant right now?
You place everything, and then it just simulates on
Oh.
its own. It's very much like, yeah, but it's very much like a goofy version of battle sims. So like Civ, like the Civilization games and things like that, where you're like doing the management, you place everything, and then it just goes. Or if you want to compare it to like a phone game, Clash of Clans back in the day, where you just place the things and then they run out and do whatever they're gonna do. And that's what these are. So you're trying to come up with the best strategy to place them to beat the opponents. So
All
which
right.
soldiers to use, which ones to place. Also very similar to there's a mini game in Star Wars in Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order. It's a
Mm-hmm.
bar game that you can play that I spend a lot of time in, where it's just this: it's you versus another character in game. They play soldiers, you play soldiers. Like whichever ones you want to use, you have so many points of what you can use. Place your soldiers, and then it just simulates a battle to see who wins. It's
Okay.
just that one with Star Wars characters. This one's very like goofy as they like run around and try and move, and they're very like the weird physics stuff. Like I call it Falls Guys physics. Other games did it, but the main game I played that does that physics, the like sloppy, clumsy physics, is Fall Guys. So Fall Guys physics, but that's the idea. Just trying to win. It was the free game for PlayStation Plus. I wouldn't have picked it up otherwise. It is goofy if you need to like waste a couple minutes. I don't see anyone taking it like this is a game I need to beat, like full on serious mode. But it is also a good way to see if you like if this is slightly interesting to you, then you might actually like battle sims and managements and like civilization games and things like that. If you try this out and you're like, I hated every single moment of this, then you know not to try one of those. Because this is just the goofy version of those.
All right. Okay. You know what a funny thing about it is? It reminds me of a YouTuber who made a channel and really blew up with the channel based off the game Elden Ring. Obviously, everybody's familiar with Elden Ring, but what he did was take different bosses in the game and put them in the same stage, and it was basically like who would win is his thing. And I don't know, he obviously had to do something on PC to mess with it to do that, but they would be in there with their health bars and everything, and they would fight it out, and then we'll see one boss actually beat the other one, and it was something that I thought was fascinating. I was watching a lot of videos, but a lot of those videos had a lot of views. Like I'm pretty sure he made a career out of it a little bit. So yeah, that was a whole thing. But anyways, we can move forward to the next show. Chronological order, I have this as Wholesome Snack Game Awards Edition 2025. Wholesome Snacks. You like snacks? I like snacks. I ain't got no snacks right now though. But yes, Wholesome Snacks. How did you feel about this show? What did you pull from this one?
Oh man, I pulled 0. I ain't got nothing from it.
You pulled 0? Listen,
I pulled 0. This thing was.
They didn't look like snacks to you? Because they had a bunch of YouTubers that tried to be snacks on here, I guess. But okay, you're not interested in the YouTubers. All right, well, at least on my end, I did watch this show second by second. I might add. I didn't pull anything either. But shout out to everybody who did their thing on this show.
Okay, you didn't pull anything either.
Listen, they wholesome snacks. That's what they was trying to be. They showed. It was way too many YouTubers. First of all, it was more YouTubers than it was games. But I guess they wanted to be listed as wholesome snacks. Maybe they was wholesome. Snacks not so much. I'm sorry.
Oh, rude. They was trying to be wholesome. Maybe they not a snack to you.
Anyways,
but statistically, they're a snack to someone.
All right, you canceled. Women-led games.
What? It was nicer than what you said.
Women-led games Game Awards Edition 2025. Now you better watch what you say, because this is the women-led games. So yes, you better like something. What did you like? You canceled.
I sort of liked one game.
Okay.
But like, I'm not 100% sold on it. It's called Crystalla. It looked like a cool action game. It's just everything was like a furry. And it's one thing to be like anthropomorphic. It's another one you just straight look like a furry. And like they were too uncanny. Like it was like I'm used to games where you're like a little animal guy running around. That's fine, right? But these ones felt a little too just. They all look like the cat, like the Khajiit in the Elder Scrolls games, but like I don't know. It was weird to me. Like it threw it off a little bit, but the gameplay looked like a really cool action slash game. That was the one that like stood out to me from the rest because everything else is very almost cutesy, and then this one was just like here's the violence and fighting in fantasy world. So this one looked cool.
All right, I want to say shout out to Alaya Will, who was the host on the first cut, like the first person they showed, and Philip, who I believe is her boyfriend.
Oh, is that the dude that magically appeared on the bed when she was talking?
Yeah. He was hidden behind. That's a little bit that they do every now and then. I do follow them on Twitch. She's a Twitch streamer. I think she's really good with the piano. Don't really play. Funny enough, they don't play the games that much. They were just here doing a thing, and yeah, I just wanted to give them a shout out. Funny enough, I know that was their bed in the background. The only thing I was thinking about every time they showed them, I was like, they be in the background doing a nasty right there, just right there. And they had the nerve to showcase that in front of everybody. The bed sheets all raggedy and stuff. Anyways, so shout out to them. But yeah, I didn't actually get anything from this show. That's what I got. It was just one of the streamers that I saw.
You just hated on the bet. I at least got a game. I cared about it. I'm not canceled. Does that undo my previous statement?
No, you canceled because you skipped the PC gaming show, the actual show you were supposed to watch.
Because I want to give it the time it's due. I didn't want to have to speed through it.
You didn't have
speed run.
Don't speed through it. Just watch it.
I'm not watching. There was 10 shows. Like okay. It didn't deserve to be lumped in with the other 9. Like
that's the one you skipped. You watched these, and that's the one you skipped. Okay.
They were 3 hours, and the first thing it said it was most anticipated games, which next year, and I'm pretty sure we saw most of them. So I was like, okay, I ain't got time for this. And then that Slitherine one or whatever, it started with like a panel of 3 people sitting at a buzzer, and I went, no, I'm good. That's 3 hours also. I'm not watching this. Let me get through these other ones.
Bro, I watched that one too, and we can go right into it, man. The Slitherine Next 2025, man. This was a cool show. I thought it was a cool show. I thought it was a cool concept. And you know they mentioned it was their 25th anniversary. You didn't even care.
Never heard of them before that. 25th anniversary.
It was their 25th anniversary, and you didn't even care, bro. That's crazy. That's
what'd you get out of it?
Listen, I first just wanted to mention that this show was based. Listen, no, you ain't even let me finish. You ain't even letting me let me finish. This is a real-time strategy showcase. They actually had it set up. They had it set up where they were doing a Jeopardy style game with some devs or some people on the side, and they were asking them those type of questions, and then the people would have to guess the game and stuff. And then when they got it right, they showed the trailer, to show the people. It was actually interesting how they did it, man. They played the full game. Or played the full show, and then they showed like the trailers of the games when they pop up when they got it right, Jeopardy, style, and you saw the little buzzer. They pressed the buzzer, you know what I'm saying? And then they showed us a bunch of real-time strategy games, and that was the main thing about it, man.
Dang, so sad I missed it. So what games
you missed it?
Pick up from it.
I didn't actually take down none of the games, but I did. I appreciated the show. I actually appreciated what they was doing though.
3 hours for nothing.
I just watched.
Listen, 3 hours and you didn't get one game out of it.
First of
during
all,
a week with 10 shows.
I watched regular speed on every last show and got through.
Congrats! I got a life. I'm not doing that.
I got a life too. Listen, I'm a whole world champion in my world in my position.
You went through for 3 hours and got nothing out of it in a week with 10 shows. If this was a week with 2 shows, then that's fine. But a week with 10 shows, that's a waste of time.
I got to see. I haven't seen Jeopardy in a long time. I have not watched that. Usually when you watch Jeopardy, you get a day off from school or something. It's been a long time since I've seen Jeopardy. They had Jeopardy with video games, man. What more can you ask for? What more can you ask for?
Not be on a week with 10 other shows. That's what I could ask for.
Oh my god!
I would love to watch that. I would love to go through and try and answer the questions for a Jeopardy thing. I wouldn't have been paying attention at all because of the way I had to watch the shows with there being 10 of them. Be on a different week.
Listen, man. I can't. I apologize to the people for my co-host's behavior today. I don't know what is going on.
You apologize all you want. I ain't apologizing. Don't be on a week with 10 other shows.
Oh my god! All right. Well, I'll tell you what, man. We gonna let him calm down. Let's take a quick break. We gonna take our middle of the game, middle of the road break right now, where we talk about Epic Games, our unofficial sponsor. They give out free games every week, and I think this week was a very, very special week, which was actually mentioned on the Game Awards, and I'll get to that in a second because I actually thought that was it was strange to me. But Epic Games gives out free games every week. You know how I always say you do not need a credit card or debit card on file. You can create your own profile, put one of your favorite gamer tags from the past or the same one you got on console if nobody took it, and you can start claiming these games. Once you get a handheld, once you get a laptop, once you get a tower, once you well, probably not the Steam machine, but once you get the other stuff, you'll be able to log in and just play all these games without no problem. Steam machine and Steam Deck, you gotta do some workarounds, unfortunately. But yes, shout out to the game on screen. This is Doom: The Dark Ages. This is the footage where I get to play as a Megazord. Pretty cool, right? Epic Games, the game that they gave away that's free right now, as we speak, until December 18th, was actually Hogwarts Legacy. Very big deal. And I thought it was interesting because at some point later on in the Gaming Awards show, they mentioned that as well. It was like, hey, Epic Games is giving away this game. Jeff Keighley was talking about it, giving it some praise, and I thought it was interesting because the first thing that came to my mind was that I thought this game was blackballed from their show. Because the year that it came out and it made whatever impact it made, it did make a big impact. It was nowhere to be found on any gaming category as far as an award. But then, year or two later, now it's like, hey, this is free, go get it.
Yeah, the controversy, if you want to call it that, died down, and that's their way of trying to praise it now. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, so for the people out there, you can go and get this game. Interesting for me, I now have it on more than one platform. So I get the choice, because I actually haven't started it. I get the choice, do I want to play it on the console or on PC? It's starting to be a thing now with Epic Games especially, picking up certain titles, saying, hey, here's a title, and I may have gotten it before. But that was the only one for this week. The next one is supposed to be on December 18th, which they have it listed as a mystery game. And we're actually in the time frame where they do the mystery games back to back. Previous years they were doing it daily. I don't know if they're going to start doing it daily at that time leading up to Christmas or New Year's, but that's how they were doing it before. So you want to check Epic Games Store every day, at least starting next week at or at least right before 11 a.m. to get the previous game. At 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is when they have the next game that lasts either a whole week or maybe 24 hours during the season. So make sure you catch it. I have such a big library as it is under Epic Games now that's just growing and growing, and I barely pay for any of them, right? But yeah, Hogwarts Legacy, big game, big Christmas game, I guess, for everybody, and it's free. You can't really be mad at that. Do you have, for my co-hosts, any sales or anything related to a platform sales that you might want to highlight?
Nope, I don't care about y'all. Nah, I ain't got nothing.
All right, he canceled. You just canceled. Oh, you ain't do it. All right. Anyways, that is the middle of the road show. Funny enough, my co-host was telling me that we was gonna take all day, and he ain't know that I had a plan. And we almost done. It's like almost, we like quite literally almost done. I just wanted to mention that. I just wanted to mention that we almost done. Anyways, I do have a topic that is related to this portion that I do want to mention before we get back to the shows. And you see, I already prepared. I was like, we gonna have all these shows, and I'll just go mention this topic because it was actually something that was mentioned a while back. But the topic is Steam. This is a question I have for you. Do you believe that Steam is going to take over gaming in 2026? What do you think?
Uh, I don't know if it's going to completely take over. I think there's people who are still a little too stubborn on either end for the consoles, but I think it's going to be now heavily mentioned when people talk about gaming. They're not just going to say PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. It might even get to a point where instead of saying PC, they specifically say Steam. I think it's going to end up growing to being the thing. Like when they already relate PC to Steam, but I feel like that's where it's going to go. I don't know if it's going to officially like take over, but I do think it's going to increase heavily in popularity. Give it a few more years, and it's probably going to take over. I just don't know if it's going to be next year.
So, my question, the reason why I asked that question is because it's already well known at this point in the gaming space that Steam is introducing their own PC console like machine, no pun intended, Steam machine that's supposed to come out first quarter next year. Alongside it, they have their own VR headset where if you take the flash drive out of one machine, it'll jump right into the next one and it just works, or the SD card I should say. They got their own controller, and then all the little doodads, right? They have the handheld, the console, and the headset that's going to launch. Just before that, the hype was around Xbox introducing some console that's supposed to come out in the next few years, and the buzz was just that it was supposed to be the first hybrid system that plays Steam games, right? And has a PC component in it, which made everybody introduce the whole taboo topic of playing a PlayStation game through Steam on an Xbox console, right? That was a whole thing. Well, then all of a sudden Steam jumped out of nowhere and said, well, we're coming with our thing right here that's going to play pretty much both ahead of them. And then afterwards, I want to say early last week, we just didn't have it on the topic. It was announced that the PS6 is also supposed to have a Steam component, and I think they probably said it because of the buzz around the Xbox having theirs. And so the idea is just like, okay, here's a whole bunch of consoles, but the underlying factor is they're playing Steam. That's what everybody keeps being hype about. It's like, oh, they're all playing Steam. And then all the handhelds, the hype around those is to play the Steam games. And I was just saying, like, well, if the hype around the next consoles is to play Steam games on it and play competing game platform stuff on it because they're all on Steam, and then we also have Steam itself coming out with their own stuff, it's like, is that where we're headed, where it's just like it's Steam as the big thing basically? Because Steam is already known for allowing you to pretty much emulate and integrate all your emulation in the Steam's OS itself. I do that on the Steam Deck, which it just looks fantastic. And then Steam was also, playing around with the idea of just pretty much emulating all of Nintendo without saying it directly. And everybody's just kind of like, ah ha ha moment or whatever. So it's like, if they're doing that and then you're just focusing directly on their machines only, it's like, well, Steam might it's like, well, if the console war is over, I honestly feel like Nintendo may have won because they never really budged. But then like afterwards, it's just all Steam. It's like, well, that sounds like a monopoly in itself that's gonna grow. That's just my thoughts. You got any words on that?
Like I said, I don't know if it's going to take off completely next year, but I
Mm-hmm.
think we are headed to a spot where people are going to move towards PC. And it has to also do with what I said before. along with Steam, where people want convenience. So it's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
if I buy PlayStation, I may miss out on these games. If I buy Xbox, I may miss out on these games. If I get Steam, I can do all of them. So
Right.
why wouldn't I do that, right? And now if like the next set of consoles are also like, well, we're integrating with Steam, and it's like, or you could just get the Steam machine, right, for the same price. Like people want the convenience. So if it's going to be right priced reasonably and can do what the other ones can do plus and combined, then that's going to be the one that people go for. Again, there's still going to be some people stubborn and just like I buy PlayStation because it's just PlayStation, and things like that. But a lot more people, I think, are going to be moving towards PC because they just don't want to have to deal with, you know, oh, we decided it's time to get the new console, so now all the old ones don't work on your like games anymore. Get the new console, but we're still going to release everything on both like, you know, it's just like, oh, I might as well just get a PC. Then you get a good enough PC, people are going to be like, I can do games and other stuff for those that aren't just fully game. Uh, TV is going to look a lot better. The Steam machine is going to make it easier. There's a lot of people who still console in the living room, and now it'll be Steam machine in the living room. Uh, it's that's the way we're going to move. I don't know how well it'll kick off next year, but I do think that's the way it's going to go.
Okay. All right. Well, real quick, I want to make a statement for the people out there. It's like if you buy the Nintendo system, then if you gotta have a choice, you buy the Nintendo system, you might miss out on Steam. But if you buy the Steam machine, you ain't gonna miss out on Nintendo. All right. Anyways, I just want to mention it because I actually wrote this down on the side. Before we move on, the PC Gaming Show, I thought it was funny. Some of the hosts, one of them was a purple Zordon. That I thought was interesting. It was just goofy. They were doing goofy stuff. They had like the curly hair chick too, who was doing like a space Star Wars kind of thing, and then this black dude who was like a black Jedi. They was like all in there, and I thought it was
Oh, what
funny
show?
on the PC Gamer Show. So you missed the
Oh,
purple
okay.
Zordon. I'm just saying you missed him. You
Oh,
missed purple Zordon. Anyway, um,
definitely.
we gonna move on to the next showcase. So the Latin American Games Showcase Game Awards Edition 2025. Another one of these with a nice long title. Did you catch this one?
I did. I
You
got
caught
4 games out of it. Kind of
you,
3, because the fourth one I already had pre-ordered and we already talked about it. Mexican Ninja. But besides that, I
uh-huh.
had 3 other games out of it.
All right, what's one of your first games?
Eagle Knight Paradox, which upset me because it was really hard to figure out what the name of it was
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't display the name. So it was like within the like the logo for
Yeah.
like the screen. But when they showed the logo, the main character is blocking half of the letters, and the other handwriting for the word paradox was written in a font that made it difficult to see. So I'm just like, I don't know what this is trying to say. So I had to like look up. At first, I thought it said like Earth Knight Paradon, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. So I typed that into just Google. It was like, what's Earth Knight Paradon? Came out with nothing. So I was like, Earth Knight Paradon game, and then like typed in like Latin American Showcase, and it was like Eagle Knight Parad, and I had to put demo out now, and it was like Eagle Knight Paradox, and I'm like, oh, that's what it said. But it was like a cool, old school looking platformer, um, that just like you're like some like space knight.
Yeah, I actually knew about that game beforehand. I did write it down. Eagle Knight Paradox actually has a demo associated with it. I wrote down Tormented Souls 2 and Mexican Ninja here as well. All 3 games I had already seen before. I wrote those down. Big shout out to my main mans on this show, Justin Woodward. I've mentioned him a few times before. He's still in these streets. You know what I'm saying? On all the gaming shows, putting in that work, actually showing up, unlike my co-host. So, But anyways, the actual new game that I put on here, there was one called Mariachi Legends, which
Mariachi.
is Mariachi. What I say? Maria.
Maria.
Maria Chi. Legends.
Yeah.
Mexican hack and slash, not to be confused with the Mexican ninja. You got Mexicans doing everything over out here. Shout out to the Latin American showcase. But yes, you write this down. You like this one? You like this game?
It did look cool. I didn't write it down, but it did like stick out to me. I thought it looked cool.
Yeah, man, that was a cool game. That was my only one that was new. The rest of them, I had already wrote down before. And
There was
shout out
two
to
that
my
I
guy
didn't write
Justin.
down before.
All right. What you got?
Fatal Run 2089. Just
Okay.
looked like a cool post-apocalyptic sort of racer.
Mm-hmm.
And then Soul Quest.
Soul Quest.
You play as this like girl knight in like a 2D hack and slash platformer that just looked very like sharp with the movements. Like it looked quick, sharp, like one of those type of games. So it looked pretty cool. So you had like
Okay.
a sword and you're just doing a bunch of sword moves.
Okay. Yeah, that was it. That was it for
Yeah.
this for me.
I would say Eagle Knight Paradox look was the one that caught my attention the most. And then it just got upset. I was like, ooh, what game is this? And when it showed the title screen, and I'm like, I don't know what that says. But other than that, yeah, that was to me the top one. And then the rest of them were good. I'm surprised you didn't get Fatal Run 29. You're usually the racer guy.
I have a couple other racers that I put, but not that one, I guess. But I do want to say, because I did write this down earlier with the best gaming or best indie game showcase, the winter showcase from the first gaming showcase we was talking about. And with this showcase as well, there were a lot of games where they barely showed the name, and it's like, well, if you show off a game and then the name flashes for like 2 seconds, you don't give nobody enough time to write anything down. And then if it's got a weird symbol instead of a letter or something, it's like, well, there you go. Now nobody's gonna be able to get it. If you were
Yeah.
watching live, you can't. I mean, you technically can rewind it, but it's still kind of an inconvenience there. And I think they do a disservice not putting the name in the corner of their trailer or something the entire time, because somebody can easily go on their phone and add it to the wish list. They mention in a lot of these shows, oh, don't forget to go to this wish list page on Steam and wish list the game. But I think not everybody's gonna know how to navigate through that, because Steam's gonna prioritize the game awards itself on this main page. So it's like, if you really
Also,
just want to write down a game, you just want to do it right then and there.
also, if they display a lot of games, and let's face it, a good chunk of them are going to be like 8-bit, and a good chunk of them are going to be like this and that. Sometimes it's going to be hard. Like you have to go through the page and refigure out, wait, which was the one that I liked, because you don't know the name. And that also goes with like the game 13Z. I knew what it was from before, but to display the name, they display the logo, and it looks like a game company logo. And they don't even center it. It's like off to the side. So for a second, you're like, wait, what is this? And then I remember, oh yeah, it's 13Z. I think they would do really good if they just had the name of the game in the bottom like corner, like a name bar, like the name tag, like IGN does sometimes. Like that would help. Just have the name displayed the whole time.
Yeah. All right. I think I was supposed to mention this at the free games and sales part, so I'll mention it now before we go to the last one. There were actually 2 more gaming shows that popped up afterwards. And I kind of felt like, well, maybe the gaming awards show could be the cutoff. But I will follow up with it next week. One of them is called the Horror Game Awards 2025. Not to be confused with the regular Game Awards, but I'm assuming this is a whole show centered around Resident Evil 8 9. That's got to win the main one. But yes, the Horror Game Awards 2025. We'll watch next week, or we'll report back on next week. And the other show is called Choose Wisely Festival Official Opening Showcase 2025. And one of the taglines is 50 choices matter indie games. So they're going to show you 50 indie games. They want you to choose wisely. Me and my co-host is going to watch both shows second by second. Ain't that right, co-host? We're going to watch that next week. It's only 2 shows. He claimed no more than 2 a week or whatever he said. We can watch it next week. I'll post it later. Yes, horror games. Maybe the horror games showcase probably had a bunch more horror games that we didn't really see. So I'm going to be looking forward to that. The indie showcase, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bunch of repeats. 50 titles, I mean, you got to have a repeat that we've seen already. Any thoughts on the other shows? Are you excited next week?
I mean, sure.
It's 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm excited about, that it's only 2.
All right. Well, my co-host will be committed. He has already informed me before that he is prepared to take off work and watch these shows. Anyways, we can move forward to the next game showcase. Here we go. I'm sorry. So it was actually 2 more. So Day of the Devs Game Awards Edition 2025. Day of the Devs, man.
Yeah, man.
How'd you feel about Day of the Devs?
Man, I got 0.
All right, man. The devs can't. You cancel. They gonna be screaming. You remember when they were saying, "Buy the effing game day 1"? They gonna be saying that to you. They gonna be telling you to buy day 1. It is what it is. I don't know why you ain't watch. My apologies to the people. Oh, you did watch. I don't know why you ain't writing nothing down. Anyways, for me, I thought the show was dope. You know how they was, talking about it. They was giving us great detailed insight on what they do on a daily basis. And I appreciated it. I didn't actually write nothing down because it was just so much to take in from the show itself. I was so overwhelmed. But anyways, we can move forward to what we might consider the main event. The Game Awards 2025 itself. We got about 5 minutes here that we can spare on this particular show. That's okay. We'll do that right now. But I gotta start off by mentioning the first game that I wrote down, which actually was the second dog game that I saw. This was a part of the pre-show portion of this show. The game was called The Free Shepherd. And it was even more of a dog game than the other one. It was like you play as the dog's doing a bunch of stuff. It looked like he had some of the same, or not same, but like some of the technology on him that the cat had in the other game. So, but I wrote it down. I was like, you know what? We're going to try out some of these dog games to see what that's all about. So did you see that? That was like the first thing that they showed with the girl. I forgot her name. My apologies.
I never watched the pre-show.
Oh my God! What we gonna do with this guy? Oh my God! He ain't even watched the pre-show.
If it was important, it would have been in the main show.
It's the dog, man. You ain't like the dog. First of all, if you ain't watch it, then you missed some of the actual awards. The first award that they had was the best family game.
Yeah, they shouldn't have put it in the pre-show. Put it in the show.
The best family game. And it was funny because the crowd actually booed this. The best family game went to Donkey Kong Bonanza. Somehow, some way, it's a family game, single player game. All the other games in that category, it was multiplayer, but whatever. It was the best family game. The chat itself said this is rigged, blah, blah, blah. They did follow it up with Innovation and Accessibility Award. And it went to the game on screen, Doom: The Dark Ages, man. Bam, you missed all of that, man. This is just good awards, man.
Oh no.
Doom: The Dark Ages, as you can see, all the accessible people they can play this game. And then afterwards, it was best esports game. You missed this, man. The best esports game was Counter-Strike 2. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why you ain't watched this, man. And then they also showed Trash Matter, They let you know that Trash Matter had a demo. You know what I'm saying? Formerly known as Pragmata, but I'm done with this game. They said it's got a demo. They gave you the release date. The release date is coming April 26, 2026. You missed all of this, man. You missed this. You could play that demo though right now. Pragmata. We might have to pull that one up and see, like, should I give this game a chance? I don't know. But Pragmata. Play the demo right now. The game's coming out late April. Best mobile game. You missed this, man. You missed it. Best mobile game was a game called Umame Sumi. I think Umame Sumi Pretty Derby. I butchered it, but it got a big pop, man. It was a big pop in there. They liked that game. They liked it. I'm just saying. You missed it. You missed it. You missed the best indie game award. You ain't watched this? You ain't know. Guess who won this, man? Best indie game went to Claire Obscure Expedition 33. One of the first of the many games.
There's two separate indie awards, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because they also announced one during the show.
Yeah, man, you missed it, man. They also had Bradley the Badger. This was a game that I wrote down from this show. It's a 3D platformer. It just looked great. Now they did say that the footage was pre-alpha footage. I don't really like, pre-alpha footage because it means like it could turn into something completely different. But it was Bradley the Badger, jumping around doing his platforming, man. You missed it, man. You missed it.
I saw the trailer for that.
You saw the trailer for that. All right.
Yeah, now in my YouTube feed, just like watch this.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Best adaptation award went to Last of Us Season 2.
I saw that. That wasn't the pre-show, was it? Wasn't that the main show?
Maybe. I had it all. It was all the same show for me because I'm dedicated. I watched all.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. When I saw that for the adaptation, even though the other ones weren't great, it was rigged, and everyone kept saying it should have been Fallout.
Yeah.
But no, I forgot what was the other games in that category. Oh, that's right. I thought it should have been either what was it? It was the Devil May Cry or Splinter Cell.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I just but that was yeah, or maybe that was the end of the pre-show. Maybe it was like the last 5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, because
I think the girl was still talking.
Yeah, because the start was a moving performance. It almost brought me to tears. Where they was doing, the Clear Obscure Expedition 33 music with the lady and the gentleman on stage. Such an amazing performance. I'm gonna be real. I was almost brought to tears, man. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna be real. The performance, it was great. It was a good performance. I really actually did enjoy it. But for me, it was like, it felt kind of almost like if I was a competitor for, like, if my game was competing against Claire Obscure, and then the show opened with music only from their game, knowing full well the orchestra later was also going to play music from their game, I'd be a little upset.
Yeah, man. This was Claire Obscure's night. It was just great music. Great music.
I would have been a hater if I was like a competitor. It's just like, really? Like,
shout out to the footage. It's just perfect transition. The greatest game of all time is on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. This is gameplay from Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Look at the beautiful background of this game. Like I said, crazy. Amazing music.
Yes. That's crazy.
What?
About 3 years ago, you would have skipped this because you ain't like turn-based games.
Oh, you lying. My co-host is trying to get under my skin. No, it ain't going to work.
You said 3 years ago, like you didn't. No, it's not a bad thing. It's great that you've given them a shot and you've actually enjoyed a few. But like a few years ago, that was the thing you like. In the same way, I don't usually just jump to first-person shooters. So I'm sure there's some great games that I've missed. Like this would have been something that like 3 years ago you probably would have missed, or maybe the Game Awards would have got you to actually try it. But like when it first got announced, like you would have missed out because you didn't like the turn-based stuff. So all that to just say, like, sometimes give different games, like, to the people, like, something that might not be necessarily in your genre. If it looks sort of interesting, just give it a shot. Maybe it'll be something you like.
Yes, beautiful game. Like I said, beautiful music. Way better than that music from last year. Last year, my ears
Last
was
year's music
bleeding.
was fantastic.
They was like,
You all you
I'm like,
did
oh
was
my god,
no.
oh
Don't
my
do that.
god.
Don't do that because you've talked about how in the Astrobot games you sometimes just listen to the songs.
What?
We've had that conversation
I don't know.
where
You
you mentioned when they started doing the
know what I'm saying?
it was one of the games
You got
where it
beautiful
was
singing. They're like doo 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 doo, and then
okay.
last year,
Okay, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm like,
You like
okay.
the Astrobot music and you know it. You know you do. You like the astronaut music. You've talked about it before.
Listen,
There
man,
was one of them from the first game that you said you had just in your playlist because you were
we got to
listening to
get
it.
back on track, man. See, you're making it too long. Now we're about to be here 3 hours. All right, listen.
You're the one out here
Uh,
insulting the previous game of the year.
the best action game was the next award. That award they gave it to Hades 2. You know they had to throw Hades a bone. They threw Hades a bone here.
It's not
Hades
turned in
2.
a phone. Hades is a great game.
Hades 2 got the best action game. The next thing I actually wrote down, because I don't know, let me know if I skipped something, but this honestly for me was a roll your eyes moment, because I was excited until they said Star Wars. Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic. I honestly feel like it's a cash grab. I was hoping the entire time that it was an original title, because I'm like, if it's an original title, they might try something different. But once they did the lightsaber, I knew like, yeah, this is Star Wars.
Okay. Well, for me as a Star Wars fan, I'm actually excited for it. My biggest issue though is a couple years ago, the first game shown was Knights of the Old Republic remake where the lightsaber came down and then it got canceled. And
Yeah,
then
that's why I
later
was just
that
like,
night,
okay,
they did the whole little drumming thing that was a Star Wars game. And
yeah,
then that one got canceled. So
yes.
when they showed this, my first thought was, oh my God, please don't get canceled.
But I don't know.
That's
I don't know if it's gonna get canceled because they gave the bag to the lady. They had her. They showed her in the audience. Was like, yeah, we got the same person who made the other one. But in my head,
okay.
I'm like, this is a cash grab though. This looks
Nah,
like it looks to me like the same type of situation with some of these other games where it's like it's a remake,
it's not.
but it's like
It's its own story set in the universe for Knights of the Old Republic, which a lot of people have been wanting them to go back to. So everyone like Knights of the Old Republic is considered like the best
mhm.
Star Wars game, 1 and 2, and everybody's. That's why they were clamoring for the remake, is because they were just hoping that this universe gets explored more. So when it got canceled, that's why people were saying they didn't really care about that drumming game that they were showing with the Star Wars thing. But now that they've announced Fate, saying it's in the same universe, they're happy. Oh, and it wasn't the lady. That was his wife. It was the guy. He just had a feminine, what we consider feminine name,
uh,
but it
because
was
I
the
thought
guy.
they
The guy
okay,
is the one that made it. Yeah,
okay.
his name was something like one of
I'm
those
just
like
saying, because
weird
the last Star Wars game, the one with the girl with the ugly hair that was a shooter, that didn't
almost.
go over so well.
Yeah, but that's
And then
EA.
they canceled like two of them, and so I'm like,
Yep.
well, I mean, like we had some other star-ish games that I was saying was shown, but it's the main one with the main name that's gonna have all the main stuff that everybody likes. Let's just see what they do. I'll
I
give
just
it.
wanted to actually release
Yeah, let's
and
see if
not
they
get
actually
canceled.
release it. Cause like, in my opinion, like you could have just did it with the other game. You didn't even have to change the name. You would have had like a year or something to develop it. But we'll see. We'll see. I wrote down the game that they showed next called John Carpenter's Toxic Commando.
Mhm.
It's like it's a zombie shooter. It's got a dude that's like more of like your Sylvester Stallone ish kind of dude, you know what I'm saying? Them type of dudes. Um, so yeah, I wrote that down. I wrote down the game called Divinity. Uh,
Yeah,
that one has that trailer.
yeah.
It was like a
Super dark trailer.
stage skit and disturb. I said it was a disturbing trailer because, like, if you really saw what they was doing, it didn't look like it was something you would put on
Well,
screen.
yeah, it
Like,
was
were the
a
kids in the audience? Like, what's going
yeah,
on?
it was a medieval hedonist party. So you take that with everything it comes with, along with
Well, they showed it.
what is setting a person on fire. Yep,
Yeah.
they definitely showed it. But I'm excited that Divinity is coming back. I've played a little bit of the first one, and I got to get back into it. I just like didn't have time. I
Hmm.
started playing other stuff, but it's what Larian Studios knows how to do. Like Divinity is what got them popular. Then they released Baldur's Gate 3, and everybody went
Hmm.
crazy. And now they're going back to the Divinity world. Because the other ones were Divinity Original Sin. I was afraid when they said Divinity that it was going to be like a remake or something instead of just a
Hmm.
new thing. But they said it's a new thing. So set in the Divinity world. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, they followed it up with the Best Performance Award. This one went to Jennifer English, who was one of the actresses for Claire Obscura Expedition 33. I really like her accent. She did do a very good job in the game itself. She was one of the main characters. I think in this particular award, like three different expedition actors
Yeah.
was they pretty much just put most of the main cast up there. Like all y'all can get this, but they gave it to her. I think she had the best speech, honestly, of the night. And it was very inspiring. But yeah, and then for me, the next game that I actually wrote down was called Angels of Delusion. I actually just put it's a weeb game, weeb slasher game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wrote that down. They followed it up with the award Games for Impact. And I thought maybe this can shut some mouths. But they gave it to South of Midnight. Shout out to South of Midnight. I don't honestly, it wasn't that impactful to me, but I could see how it's very impactful for all the black girls who was crying over it not being in the game of the year award itself. Interesting enough, and maybe I should hold my tongue on this, but
I think you're gonna say what I was thinking.
where was the black people when they actually like had the people
Because they
like
weren't the
get
ones
the?
who made the game.
I was just kind of confused by this. I was just like, they
Now,
had no
I do
black
think
person up there.
I think one of the ladies, I think she had a little melanin in her
Yeah,
heritage. One of them, but the other lady was like pure like white southern.
yeah.
Like,
It was just
but
kind of strange because I
they were
remember.
the one who was tearing up the whole time and almost sounded like she was
Yeah,
trying to force herself to cry. I think she had a little bit of a melanin in her, like from just staring. I was like, is she black? Like maybe, but yeah, it was just I was surprised that it was basically two southern like white ladies who
I
was
just
just like.
remember I was watching one of the Black Voices in Gaming showcases from before. If I'm not mistaken, it was the one where I told you the chat went crazy racist.
Yep.
They actually had a black developer for this game, like on there interviewing her.
Hmm.
And the way she made it seem like there was more black content creators also, that worked on this game. So when they went up there and it was like everybody that was next to them when they were seated was not black. and then and then they went up there, I was like, this don't make sense, but okay. Because they were still talking about like, yeah, the South, this and that. I'm like, you wasn't from there,
Yeah,
whatever.
they were. It's their history too. They just were on the side we want, but it's their history
I was
as
like, all
well.
right, all right, all right. I was like, okay. But yeah, I played the game, dope game. I think also within their speech they mentioned the game will go fully multi-plat sometime in April if I'm not mistaken. So look out for that if you didn't play it on Game Pass. I played it on Game Pass. The next game that I wrote down was another one of the space games. It was called Exodus. It's a space 3D shooter. And they threw the year out there 2027, so they're gonna give this one some time to work on it. Did you see that? And please let me know if I'm skipping some of the games because I'm going in order. But if you wrote
Oh
something
yeah.
down beforehand,
So I'm gonna mention this game, and you let me know if it was this early on because I don't remember. Control.
absolutely, yeah. Control is afterwards. I'm getting to it.
Okay,
So,
that was my
um,
next one. So
all right. So the one right before it, it was called Screamer, which
oh,
is a
that was
racer.
later. I must have wrote this out of order. Yeah, that one I have written down too. That looked good. It was like the racer where the story was anime, right?
Yeah, it's a racer. It's supposed to come out March 26, 2026. It is already on the storefront for Steam with the price of $60. So keep that in mind for everybody. Then they showed Control 2 or Control Resonant. This is more of a hack and slash for Control. The first Control was still more shooter based with the girl with her powers. This one was one of my considered top three of the night. But yeah, Control 2. The Control series, as well as Alan Wake's, and the shout out to, I think, Quantum Break. That entire series coming from Remedy, I do plan to, be more into this upcoming year and catch up to Control 2. But yeah, Control 1, I should mention right now, the Ultimate Edition is pretty much next to nothing anywhere you want to find it on like all the platforms from what I've seen. They were all on sale for like $5. That game was also a big cheap game for Black Friday. If you didn't get it, you can get it right now for like $5 to $10. But if you're getting it digitally, I've seen it for $5 to be honest with you. But yeah, tell me if you wanted to speak on it. How did you feel about Control 2 or Control
Uh,
Resonant?
so I still plan on playing the first Control game. I haven't gotten to it yet. Like I
Mm-hmm.
want to dive into that and Quantum Break, but it did look really cool, like very trippy, but like interesting trippy, right? Where I'm really like, oh, all this stuff that's happening. And it just looks like it's nice that I know a lot of people consider Control very underrated. So the
Mm-hmm.
fact that it is getting it's getting a sequel, showing that like, hey, we recognize that people liked it. Here's more. Was another cool seeming character. Um, I'm excited to like further jump in and hopefully I can time it out to like play that right when I'm about to get the next one.
I do want to shout out Remedy for their consistency because Remedy is not necessarily considered one of the biggest studios from the fans' perspective, the fans of gaming, but they have had a steady release that I think is reasonable for their studio because if we remember, it started off with the Alan Wake remaster, which led into Alan Wake 2, which did get a bunch of nominations at that year's Game Awards. But Control was just before that. Quantum Break was a while back. I can't really count that as like being in their lineup, but this is leading into Control 2, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep going with the Alan Wake franchise, which was their starter franchise. And Alan Wake's DLC is already there with Control 1, so they have some steady releases, and I appreciate their work. The next game I actually wrote down was called Gang of Dragon. I thought the name was a
Yeah.
little vague, but it's not necessarily a Yakuza series game, but it's his own thing. Mob story ish based game, 3D action. The dude was stabbed in the stomach the whole time. And then I don't know if they was like, this is the ending, and then they just go backwards. They spoil the
Oh
game. I
no,
don't
it
know.
looked like he survives. I think they're just trying to show he's a boss.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
what it reminded me of is this one anime that I plan on watching. Um I meant to watch earlier this year. It's called Sakamoto Days.
Okay.
Where it's about this guy who he's like just this chubby old guy who works at a convenience store, but it turns out he used to be a hitman for like the different like mobs and everything, and now they all want him to come out of retirement and they're hunting him down while he's trying to like run his convenience store. But he's
Hmm.
like this just real cool dude who's just taking him out, and that's what it like the vibes it gave me for this. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it wasn't in my top three, but I will say it was a very like strong four or fifth. But yeah, Gang of Dragon is something that I definitely put on the wish list. Next we actually got a glimpse of the new Street Fighter movie.
Yeah.
Very very cheesy looking. Everybody had
Oh yeah.
came on stage and stuff. We had a couple wrestlers, a couple actors that I've seen in the past. And then
One of my favorite moments from that was so Andrew Schultz,
hmm
which a lot of people are mad that he's in the movie because he's like a full comedian that some people don't like, but I think he's
hmm
hilarious. But it was a part where he goes, this stage is too big to just have one like movie up here, one video game movie up here, and we make these movies for you. So introducing the cast of Mortal Kombat 2, and the camera zooms out while everyone's cheering and no one comes out, and then it zooms back in on Andrew Schultz, and he's like, "Psych, no, they're not here. They only care about money. We care about you and money."
Yeah, it was it was a edgy. It was a very edgy moment, very edgy
But
joke. I was
that's
like, are
what
they gonna
he
get away with
does.
it?
A lot of his like, even if you watch his stand up, he pushes the boundary over the top
Yeah, he
on
pushed
type
the
of stuff.
boundary there for sure.
So he did it. That was his way of doing it there, and it was just like, yeah, that's great. I don't care. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, so very cheesy movie. I'm not gonna overjudge it. I'm pretty sure it's kind of meant to be
Oh,
cheesy.
it is.
So
It's gonna be one of those movies that's bad but good, where it's just like it's good. It's enjoying. Like you enjoy it, but like if you try to compare it to some sort of cinematic like masterpiece, it's gonna be terrible. But I think
yeah,
it
like
knows that it's not trying to be
the
serious.
first Mortal Kombat though, I remember the reception for it was that it was bad, but I think more people will probably open up to it as it becomes something that's a little bit more irrelevant. But at the time, like the main character that they had that was a new character just for the series
Yep.
or just for the movie, people hated him.
Oh yeah.
So
And I also think the issue is that it was bad, but it was trying to be good. Like it
yeah,
thought it was being good. It was, but where I think this, it knows its lane. It's not trying to be some Oscar-worthy, like serious, take it serious film. Whereas it is Street Fighter. It is over the top, and it is for Street Fighter fans. I feel like because they know what they're doing in that aspect, that's what's going to make it good. Where it's one of those, it could be bad, but we're not. No one's going to hate on it for
yeah.
that. Where more again, Mortal Kombat was trying to be a serious movie. Borderlands was trying to be a serious movie, and that's why it was like, no, these are terrible.
Yeah, I actually thought that so the next thing that they actually showed, I actually thought No Man's Sky deserved this.
It's cool
But
that it's still going, man.
best
That's great.
ongoing game, but you know how like everybody else's thing was like it's there for the popularity of it being the thing that year, but it's not necessarily like as ongoing where this one like it's been there in the category for previous years but didn't actually win, you know, and then like this time it actually won. And I was like it actually was the most deserving, like because
I
like I
think so.
think hell was it Helldivers that won the year
Helldivers 2, yep.
before,
Mm.
but Helldivers won, but No Man's Sky, if I'm not mistaken, was in that category last year. And this year, you know, they're saying this game is more. I pay attention to details like that, but I feel like yeah, this one did last the longest,
Yeah,
and it's
and it's
still
still
going.
going.
Yeah, so it definitely won that. We got to see more Lego Batman after this.
Yep.
Um,
I'm still excited for that game.
yeah, absolutely. With the release date of 5 or May 29th, 2026, right before June. I will mention right now, like, I plan to play a lot of older superhero games, especially at the start of next year. And I count a couple other things as superhero games that you might not think is a superhero game, like the Transformer games, for
That's a
example,
superhero.
or
Transformers is superheroes.
Infamous 2. Do you consider
That's
him
definitely a superhero
he a
game.
superhero? All
Yeah.
right, and then a lot of the old Spider-Man, so Web of Shadows,
Spider-Man's not a
Shattered
superhero.
Dimensions, Edge of Time, I think is a
Make
couple of
sure
them.
when you play Web of Shadows, it is the PS3 version, not the PS2 version.
Oh, I have the 360 version.
Oh, well,
I,
that
I
yeah. Make sure it's that generation, the 360 PS3, not
yeah.
the Xbox One PS2 version, because they're two different games. The PS2 that
Uh-huh.
generation one is a side scroller, and the PS3 version is the actual game that they advertised. And I remember I
Um
first got the PS2 version, and the game ends with where you fight the final boss, and again it's a side scroller. You beat it, and then it just goes you win, and then goes back to the main menu.
I
Where the other
actually
one has multiple endings.
so yeah, I got one of them, or I actually bought it. The other one, I do have the other one, I think through emulation on the Steam Deck. So I mean, I might end up going through both. Like
Hey,
Spider-Man Friend or Foe.
Okay.
was another one that was like that, where I think there was like a PS2 version, and then like the Wii version is a little bit better. Like that was during a cross generational time where they were still pumping out a bunch of superhero games.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm excited for you to
and
play Web of Shadows. That's actually my favorite Spider-Man game.
but you know what's cool about it too is I will have the footage for practically all of these games, which is
That's
still
cool.
including the Hulk game that I'm playing still technically, and also Batman Origins on PC, Batman Arkham
Also a
Knight,
great game.
Arkham Knight, Gotham Knight, like so there's a bunch of them because I haven't really been playing them, but they are starting to pile up. So I kind of wanted to, go through them one by one. But it actually is a lot of them because if you look at just Spider-Man by himself, I think it was like four of those. And I didn't even play
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man 2 on
Uh,
PS5.
Another
Uh,
good Spider-Man game is Shattered Dimensions,
yeah, I got that
which you
one too.
mentioned. Yeah.
Cause I think,
Web of Shadows and Shattered Dimensions. Like again, and I love the current Spider-Man games.
yeah,
But I'll always put Web of Shadows and Shattered Dimensions as my top two,
okay,
and then the current Spider-Man ones. Just
yes. So it's a few of those, and then because there's a few of them that I wanted to play through emulation, and then a few of them that I have where, I wanted to play, um that was actually bought on 360. Some of the PS3 stuff I still have. That's your stuff. I don't know if you consider the old God of War as God of War as a superhero. That's kind of hilarious to say, but
no, what? That's fine.
they're in there because and then one of the main ones, which was the Wolverine, the Uncaged game, from the
An Origin.
PS3. Yeah, so bunch of those titles. So, but I do want to throw this in here somewhere. This Lego Batman, that is the new one. I do want to throw it in there, but I do got a lot of old ones to go through. And then, funny enough, within the Lego series, there's that Lego Marvel Avengers. I still have that. There was a whole nother Lego Batman, if people remember, and I have that entire thing. That was actually on sale. You probably could still find that on sale for next to nothing on the eShop because I think I got the complete version for under $10 on PS5. So yeah, moving forward, just like how they do every year, we see like a series of awards just come like fast, rapid fast. And they kind of did this here, but this one I thought was a little bit interesting. Best audio design, they gave it to Battlefield 6.
Which we said I didn't think it was gonna happen, but I remember
Yeah,
us mentioning that it should go to Battlefield 6. So yeah.
yeah. This one went through fast, but I do remember a crowd being controversial over this. But best content creator went to Moist Critical.
Yeah,
It
man.
didn't go to.
Dispatch.
Yeah, he got a big pop for it in that crowd, but I
Yeah.
remember the internet saying it got to be Kai Cenat, but it wasn't. But
Oh,
which is fine because he did just win a bunch of awards because they had that streamer award. I didn't watch that, but he did win a bunch of those. So he had like 4 awards from that, and that was like not even a full week before. So he should be straight. But yeah, Moist Critical won this particular award, best content creator. They followed it up with best fighting game. They
oh, real
actually
quick before we move on for the streamer thing, there is one more thing about Moist Critical though that I think is deserving of it.
okay.
So did you know he turned off donations for his like
I remember
stuff?
him saying that. I thought he was
So
only doing that temporarily though. But
no,
okay.
he's revealed that he's made like 34 million off of YouTube through his career, and
Hmm.
said he didn't feel right taking money from 9 to 5 workers, so he turned off donations. He's like, keep your money if you're watching me. I already make enough money from ads and stuff, so
Okay.
he doesn't need it. Now he's getting voice acting roles right for the game. So for Dispatch, he's just like, I'm not gonna sit here and keep trying to take your money. I don't need it. I make money. I'm good. Just
Yeah.
watch for the
And
content.
those donations are probably pennies on a dollar compared to what the industry is giving him.
Yep.
So,
And to feel like it's just like, well, no, you already work hard for your money. You don't need to keep trying to pay me. I'm not out here struggling. Or even in a way, you can say it as like, give it to the streamers you like who do need it, because I definitely don't.
yeah.
Like, I don't know. And being transparent about it, I think is a cool thing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Um Funny enough, I remember seeing. I didn't watch that video, but I did see it come across my feed because I do think I am sub to him. I thought he was trying to say he was turning off monetization, and I was like, okay, that ain't gonna last long.
Oh, nah.
But yeah, well, if that's what he did, then that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I don't know if they came up yet, but there were. I want to mention it was 3 other games. One of them I think did come up already, but we missed it. It was the Star Wars Galactic Racer, another Star Wars game. It was like a racing
it didn't
game.
come up yet. That didn't come up yet.
Oh,
Cause I know I wrote that down. That did
okay.
not come up yet. But yeah, cause that was one of the racers that I did write. Um, so yeah, I'm on track. I'm on track. Uh, but yeah, okay. Next one, best fighting game. I felt like they just kind of glanced over that. I thought that would might be a big award where they let somebody talk, but they said best fighting game went to Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves.
Yeah,
Um,
I think we
yeah,
mentioned before. I didn't feel like none of them really stood out. Like to me, it wasn't a good year for fighting games.
yeah.
Uh, no offense to those that really enjoyed these, but it just didn't feel like they had the weight for it. Where
Hmm.
everybody's like, "Man, which one was the best?" It was more just people who were fans of Fatal Fury got their Fatal Fury game. People who were fans of this got like everyone got their thing, and then that was kind of it.
Yeah. Interesting too, though, because the cast of Street Fighter probably should have been the ones who introduced this, and then
You think?
yeah, but yeah, that's how they did it. Now, most anticipated game went to GTA 6, and they did win that the year before. But yeah, they had the most anticipated game, and then they introduced um the TGA Game Changer Award, where they just brought out some kids, some girls, and was like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're making some games, and they look
You
mad
know what?
young, but it sounded like they were in college. But
Yeah,
yeah,
they're like freshmen. But there was something I wanted to point out that one of them did that I thought was pretty cool. You could tell they were trying to be extra kind of political with it. So she even asked, like, "What does it mean to you? Like, what do you want to say to like all the like girls that
they were
also want
doing
to get
too much.
into gaming?"
Yeah, I was like, what?
But then the girl, her reply wasn't like, if you're a girl, you can like it too. She just said, "If anyone has an interest in gaming, you should try it."
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I love her response where it was just like, "This is for everybody. Like, just do it if you think you're
yeah,
gonna be interested."
and
Versus like, I don't know. I
it's
just feel like 10 years ago, maybe this would have been a cool message, but I feel like at this point now, when we're actually seeing like a woman won the voice acting award, and then South to Midnight had 2 women on stage, like getting the game, and we have women-led game show and Black Girl Gaming show. I just feel it feels weird to still try and promote. Like I don't know,
yeah,
they keep saying 49% of gamers are girls, and then to try and promote a narrative of "Hey, girls, you could do it too" is like at this point, yes, like
it's
yes, you
kind of funny
can.
because the
You
girls
know,
themselves are a little bit more pure, where everyone else, like, their intentions seem like, no, you're really trying to push a narrative.
yeah,
um but yeah, this came and went. I'm glad it didn't take too long, but it came and went. Interesting enough, because I ain't really mentioned this until now. So the next games they actually had were the Tomb Raider games. It was actually 2 games here, but they were
yeah,
teasing this Tomb Raider thing the entire night. I'm like, this better be the greatest Tomb Raider game I ever seen. And it
and it
ended up
wasn't.
being like two, which I think that was probably the surprise in itself, because before I was thinking, okay, it's just gonna be one. But the main one, which is Tomb Raider Catalyst, is expected to come out 2027, and then a remake of one of the original Tomb Raiders, Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, should come out in 2026. Um, and then they're like, yeah, they're revamping the Tomb Raider series. Honestly, if anybody hasn't really gotten into it, you should be able to find Tomb Raider, and then Tomb Raider Rise of something. I forgot what it's called. And then Shadow of Tomb Raider. It's like 3 different Tomb Raider games that came out on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. That you should be able to find very dirt cheap, especially that first one. Because
Yep.
I remember when I bought it, it was one of the first games I actually played on PS5 when it first came out, but the game itself was like $5. So, um, interesting enough too, I'll mention real quick, in that particular game, it had controls, like they had a PS5 version that they made where if you're playing with the PS5 controller and you don't have your headset hooked to it, or you're playing where sound comes out of the controller, all you had to do was say things like bow or gun, and she would actually switch to it in the game. And I thought that was very unique for a game that was old, and no new game really does that. But that was like
That's
kind of a game changer to me at the time, because I could say something like knife, and she would switch to the knife or gun or bow. And I was doing that too while I was playing that. And it was
that's cool.
unique, very unique. I never seen no other game do it since. But yeah, two Tomb Raider games. Are you excited about a revamp of Tomb Raider for the next generation or this
I think it's
generation?
cool that Tomb Raider's still going, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like to me, it's an IP that should to continue. I'm probably not gonna pick them up. I didn't even play through the last trilogy of Tomb Raider. I have them through Epic, but I didn't play
Mm-hmm.
through them yet. I plan on playing them at some point, but yeah, I'm
I
happy
do
that it's
remember
still going.
Epic did give those away at one point. Yeah, I might finish
Yep.
them on PC. Yeah, so but I had originally bought them under PlayStation 4 and 5, I guess. But yeah, yeah, for anybody, if you just want to get it out of your system real quick, definitely go play those, because I'm pretty sure you get all three for less than what the one of these is going to cost. um Here's the next thing that stood out that definitely gave away the ending. And Jeff Keighley, I don't even know if he realized what he did, but the next award was the best action adventure game award. And I think I don't know if Expedition 33 was in this category, but this went to Hollow Knight Silk Song, and
Uh,
people popped for it. But immediately Jeff was like, "See, we told you we was gonna give you one." Something like that. He said something like it,
oh, I
which
missed that.
which was kind
Oh,
of which was kind of like, yo, like what? And this is actually the only award that Hollow Knight won.
uh,
But the way I don't know if he was getting a bunch of like flack on the internet, because everybody probably thought this was Expeditions Night, but we all wanted Hollow Knight to get some type of shine some way, and this is where they did. But immediately he was just like, "See, told you they was gonna get one," something like that.
that's
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, and then right after that, they went back to just doing a bunch of different awards. So, best art direction, Expedition 33. And then best sim strategy game, Final Fantasy Tactics Evilise Edition. That's a game I do plan to play soon. And then best debut indie game, which also had Hollow Knight in it, also had Hades. Well, not, I don't know if Hades was in there, but Hollow Knight was definitely in there. But this went to Expedition 33. Dope, dope. And then they showed, and they gave a lot of time to this, Diablo Lord of Hatred DLC. They
Yeah.
showed this off. I was like, yo, we gotta hop back in it, man. We hopped out, you gotta hop back in.
I was
This
surprised that they had Mephisto being the villain so quickly. The
hmm
way the main story ended, I thought that was gonna be Diablo 5. Like it was gonna be Mephisto. So they're
yeah,
like, nah, DLC right away.
definitely. Oh, did I mention? I don't know if I mentioned the Tomb Raider was my second highlight of the night. I had three highlights,
Okay.
so Control and then Tomb Raider. I said was my second highlight, but yeah. So Diablo Lord of Hatred. At first, I thought they was jumping straight to Diablo 5, and then it was
That's what I
like,
thought.
it
Especially with
was
Mephisto being there,
yeah,
I thought that's what they were trying to tell us that he's gonna be the main villain of 5. I didn't expect it to be DLC.
yeah. Well, it comes out April 28th, 2026, and
That
it will.
paladin class looks cool though. Like
Yeah.
you can make light weapons. That was an old class in I think 3, where you make like light weapons and everything, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Cool thing too. Well, I don't know. However y'all might feel about this, this is a $40 expansion. So you're gonna basically pay for the game over again, if you want to play this. So hefty expansion. I don't know how long it is, but $40. Just so everybody knows. Next thing they showed off was more 007. We've seen 007 multiple times, but this time they revealed Lenny Kravitz is going to be in this
Yeah.
game. Yeah, big time musician. I don't know how much acting he's done, but I think this is his first role in the video game space.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of you
Do you
might
think
be
it's funny
familiar with
that
his music. Yeah.
Do you think it's funny that First Light gets compared to the Hitman series, and then Hitman's doing Eminem and they're doing Lenny Kravitz?
Yeah, that's kind of silly. I think that's their formula that they were going with because they're running both games.
Yep.
But yeah, the big interesting part that I saw about this, which I'm gonna be honest, it kind of baited me in. I don't know if you paid attention, but they mentioned that if you pre-order this game, you get the deluxe version with it. Which I don't think anybody's ever done that, but I've always mentioned before, I wouldn't have a problem, paying the full price if I got the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm a 007, stan a little bit, but I like the traditional 007. This looks like just a Hitman ish version of it, so it doesn't really look that
Yeah.
much like it, but I'm gonna look more into it as far as what the DLC, if there is DLC that will be attached to the deluxe edition or what it comes with. Like if it's just a digital art book, that kind of thing, I was like, maybe not, digital soundtrack. But if it comes with like, excuse me, some DLC or something, I will probably consider it because I remember initially saying this would be a day one buy for me. But just based off the 007 franchise. But as we started to see it, it's like, oh, this is really Hitman. But I do want to say, for the record, I would like to see more gaming titles have this type of option, because usually deluxe versions of the games at this point is like in the $80 and $90 range. But if you will commit to saying, we'll give this to you if you pre-ordered, maybe you might get people to pre-order again and pay
That'd be
for a
better
game
there.
full price.
I think the pre-order bonus being all of the extra
Yeah,
means you're buying into all of it. I think that's great.
yeah. So that's all I want to say on that, but we can move forward. Um, this footage on the screen does mean we only got about 20 more minutes left,
All right,
but
so real quick, I want to mention the other two games that I saw because I don't know if we're gonna bring them up. One was called No Law.
yeah, I
Sorry,
saw
three
that.
other
Yeah,
games. So No Law just looked pretty cool. Stupid Never Dies, which got a nice little trailer. It
I
looked like
saw that. Yeah.
Sunset Overdrive mixed with that movie Warm Bodies, with like zombies mixed with like Lollipop Chainsaw. Like it all looked like that together. So that looked pretty cool. And then one that got a teaser called Warlock Dungeons and Dragons. And it showed some like lady. I don't know what it's gonna be about, but I'm excited for it because the Warlock is my favorite class in Dungeons and Dragons. So
Okay.
that the fact that they're making a game around that class, I'm like, yo, this is gonna be something I want. I'm just waiting to see some actual gameplay.
Okay. Yeah. I saw those games. I don't know if I had wrote them down. I was looking through here, but the Star Wars Racer is coming up soon. The next, the next actual award they had was the best score in music. That gave that to Expedition 33. Absolutely, absolutely. I support that 100%. That was such an amazing soundtrack. And then the performance was still good as well. And then right after that, my third highlight, my final highlight of the night. Big pop, big hype, big hype. We got to see Lords of the Fallen 2. We got to see more gameplay. They introduced some new mechanics there. They was talking about how they had dismemberment. And we was seeing them, chopping the limbs of the people. I was like, I ain't never seen that in a Souls game. But yo, Lords of the Fallen 2. Big hype. I'm so excited about their progress here. Of course, a game like this in this category should absolutely be in the main show. This deep in the main show too. You feel me? How you feel about that? You feel me? You feel me?
The moment I realized it was Lords of the Fallen 2, which was very quickly because I think he kind of mentioned it was like Lords of the Fallen, I used the bathroom. So
Oh, you just hating. You just hating. You just hating.
because I hate that game.
Listen,
I will forever hate that game. It is one of the worst games. Not the worst. Bunny Raiders is forever the worst game, but that is one of the worst games. I hate it.
Listen, listen. It's clearly one of the best games here. You know, it's got a sequel. Unlike some of them other games from last year, they ain't getting no sequel. But this one, they got the sequel. This one we got the dismemberment. You know what I'm saying? Big thing. They also mentioned that the first Lords of the Fallen. I didn't even know they was up to version 2.5. Like if you remember correctly, as soon as we was done with the game, they had the version 2.0 that they came out with, where they was like, oh yeah, only one person has to buy it, and then everybody can play it, and everything's been reworked. Everything is like different now. Like what was it? A week or two later after we was finished, well they're up to 2.5. 2.5 of this. Maybe they might get up to 3.0 before the actual sequel comes out. But anyways, big deal. My co-host and I, day one by co-op adventure. You feel me? I'm excited. That was my last big highlight of the night. I didn't mention this before. Miss Piggy made an appearance all throughout the show.
Miss Piggy made a lot of appearances.
Miss Piggy was here. I don't know what was going on, but they had her here. Best sports and racing game. They gave this to Mario Kart World, and they was really nonchalant. Like, let's keep this moving, because I think they knew people wasn't feeling that. But yeah, Mario Kart World won best sports and racing game. It is what it is. And then best community support, they threw the Baldur's Gate 3 out there. Baldur's Gate 3 still winning awards, years later. Best VR AR game went to the Midnight Walk. Not familiar, but I might check it out, with the VR. You feel me? Best RPG definitely went to Expedition 33, as it should. Player's Choice Award, interesting enough, went to Withering Waves. I don't know this game that well, but yes,
it's one of those games that was like, it's a phone game, basically one of the gacha games. But I heard in terms of the gacha mechanics, where they're just trying to get you to spend money, this one's less predatory. It's a lot more like you can just fully enjoy the game for free. You don't have to pay stuff, and they're thoroughly enjoyable for free. What people were upset about, like, so some people's like, if you actually give the game a shot, it's actually a really fun game. People are just hating. But what other people argued is that apparently some of the gacha games, because how people vote for who they want to win awards, some of the gacha games will give you in-game items if you go vote. Like, if you click on a link and go vote for their game, you get like some of the things you would have had to pay for. And everything. It's like, here's this free small item and stuff like that. So they think they won because people were doing that to get in-game items.
So maybe that's what they did. That's how they got there.
Yeah, that's why people don't like gacha games being in that category, because they have the option to do that. But other people are saying that Wuthering Waves is actually a good game. I plan on playing it at some point, but yeah, it's one of the least predatory of the gacha games.
All right. We got to see another trailer, which I think was more of a story trailer for Sorrows. This was the game that is a spiritual successor, I guess, to Returnal. So we got to see a story trailer on this. They followed that up with the best narrative, which went to Expedition 33. Obviously, and then after that, that's when the game No Law came up, which was still an FPS story. See, I told you, I know what I'm doing, man. I know what I am doing. I know. Evanescence, made a performance here. Crowd seemed to be into it.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, here she is.
Still got it.
She still got it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, that voice. Well, I mean, they haven't performed in like forever, so. Like,
yeah. Yeah, so she's there
out performing in 2003.
A new, they got a new song that was connected to either one of the games or a movie or something that they were kind of promoting throughout it on the Jumbotron.
One of the games. What game was it? Do you remember?
No, I don't. I was just like, oh, here she is. Blast from the Past. It was cool though.
Yeah.
It was cool. Best
Oh, Afterlife, I think it was called, right?
Afterlife.
Oh no,
Probably.
Devil May Cry. That's what it was. It was for the
Oh
Devil
yeah, I
May
did
Cry
see.
anime. It was for the
Yeah.
anime.
Okay, I did see Devil May Cry pop up a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
So I'll check that out later. I didn't watch the show. But best multiplayer game went to Arc Raiders. Decent pop for this.
Yep.
This was followed by Star Wars Galactic Racer, which is supposed to be out in 2026. Interesting enough, they followed it up with a game called Out of Words, which
Oh yeah.
was a game that very much looked like what the Split Fiction team would do.
I thought it
Um,
was by them at first, but it
yeah,
doesn't.
co-op based. Yeah, pretty cool.
I like the
Fence.
little thing where the dude said like, "What's your name?" He was like, "Oh, that's right, you can't talk, so I will have to give you a name." And he gave her the girl some like nice name, and then for the dude, it was like Bag Boy.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind checking that out. That's pretty dope. A cool little co-op experience. It's nice to see other companies try to do something like it. Um, and then this game, the next game that they showed was Phantom Blade Zero. They spent a lot of time on this. This was something that they also teased throughout the night a little bit. Um, the ones that they was teasing throughout the night, the only thing I was thinking was like, man, they must have paid Jeff Keighley like up. They really paid him.
Yeah.
Um, Shout out to Jeff Keighley. He tried to have a vulnerable moment at the very beginning. Did you catch that? I was like, this kind of
Uh,
cringe, dude. But okay,
yeah, when he
because
talks
I
about how his
guess
dad used to be there every year before
yeah, like
his
we didn't
passed
even know
away.
that. He said he was quietly there. He lost
Yeah, the
him. He lost his home. I was
part
like,
of the
bro, you.
problem is. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say he was about to sound like some of these people that be in the chats or people's shows and
No,
stuff, where they be
yeah,
like, I'm like, bro, you gonna do that on
great
the main
dream. Like,
stage?
thanks, man. I've been going through depression right now.
Yeah,
It's like, I don't do that, but yeah, it was
I still
weird.
think
Uh,
the skits and the stuff from before where they was trying to raise awareness of devs losing their job was still the worst.
oh, for sure,
But it's okay.
for
He
sure.
didn't. He quickly moved on and
What didn't
stayed.
help though is because of the way they have the mics set up in there. You don't like the crowd reactions don't overtake what's going on stage. So he's like saying emotional stuff, and it sounded like the crowd was just dead silent.
Yeah,
And then
because it
he
was
just like,
awkward.
oh,
Like that's not what
yeah,
we hear.
they might have reacted, but like
Yeah,
because of the mics, we can't hear it. So it's just this
yeah,
awkward. I'm going through this. All right, moving on.
yeah. Phantom Blade Zero. We've seen it a bunch of times before here and there, so it wasn't really that much of a highlight for me. But it still looks very good. It is a game I definitely am going to play at some point. Don't think I'm going to play it by the time that they have here, but it is supposed to release September 9th, 2026. Um, so yeah, big game, I guess. They really promoting that one. How you feel about that one? Did they sell you?
No, not to sound mean. It's not that it was bad. It looked good, but I don't like it's one of those this when I weigh it into like I have all this other stuff in the backlog that I want to play, and it doesn't feel like something I want to like add to the backlog at least right now.
Yeah, like I was saying, mine's is more of the superhero blast from the past mixed
Yeah,
in with some of the games from the subscriptions and stuff, that
I'm just
type
trying
of
to
thing.
think of
Yeah.
this. Oh, side note,
I'm.
I beat this patch.
Oh, you beat the game,
Yeah,
or you watched the game, right?
beat the game. I played it.
All right. Um, Interesting enough. I've said this many times before. Um, Mega Man. They will show you 1,000. Different collections. I'm like, how many games from the past or whatever it was can you put together? Why don't you just make a new one? Now, I don't think it's exactly what I wanted because I said, why don't you try to introduce them in a 3D space? It still looks like it's going to be a 2D game, but they are saying, hey, this is going to be a new Mega Man game. Honestly, when they tried to show it, it still looked like the rest of them, but they said it was new, and it's called Mega Man Dual Override, and they're
Yeah,
giving it some time. It's going to be in 2027. What are your thoughts on that?
About time they make something new instead of just here's another battle collection of 20 games from the
Yeah.
past. I'm probably not gonna play it, but still, it's nice that they made something new.
I might check this one out because I wasn't too concerned with just trying to run through a whole bunch of collections of the old ones. I was like, just make the new one. Yeah. What's also funny is like, I think Sonic as a character and franchise needs to slow down. I don't want to see as many collections from them either. They don't do them that often, but they got too many new games. It's like they need to do it every other year instead of every year. And then Mega Man just needs to come out with something. So we'll see what this is. But yeah, they showed that. Followed it up with the trailer for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Funny enough about it is like the Nintendo franchise overall was not really getting that much praise, but they were here. They were present because they also had the Metroid Prime 4 trailer somewhere in here saying, hey, this is available right now, come play it. But they showed this. This showed off Bowser Jr. I'm gonna be honest, I did not watch the Super Mario first movie yet. I do plan to probably watch it this month, Christmas month. But yeah, this. How did you feel about the Mario Galaxy trailer?
Uh, it didn't do anything to sell me more on the movie. I already planned on seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was cool, goofy. Like you expected to be at the Game Awards, so it didn't feel out of place. But like, I mean, the movie looks like it's gonna be fun.
Super Mario Galaxy, the game, I do technically have in rotation. I plan to have the second one sometime in rotation next year. Um, so yeah, they're pretty cool. We got to see Neo 3 again. They have the release date for this February 3rd, 2026. I heavily question that. Uh, heavily question that. The reason why is because that was the death spot. That month, February and October is a death spot for a lot of games. And if y'all remember, Neo 2 came out in February, bombed so hard that game was $10 Black Friday that exact same year. And I was like, why would they do that again? Because I know something else is going to come out.
Honestly, I feel like they just keep trying to avoid Grand Theft Auto. I think that's what I feel like. They were trying to plan it to be far enough away from Grand Theft Auto and Wolverine.
Oh, I think they did themselves a disservice here because they put it in the same spot where it did not do well the year before. So I will catch this one, and I honestly predict this will repeat. History will repeat itself for this. This is going to probably be in a deep sale, if not, the exact same year at Black Friday, but definitely by the next Black Friday. But I do think there's going to be a bunch more games that come out in February, like every year, where something is definitely going to overtake it. But yeah, February 3rd, 2026, Neo 3. We got to see Solo Leveling, Arise Overdrive. This, I believe, is a big deal to a certain crowd. Not really me, but a certain crowd.
It's a super cool anime that I still have to watch, but a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people like it instantly jumped into their top 10 for
Yeah.
animes. I think it's cool that it's getting a full-on action adventure game and not just a side scroller or not side scroller, but like a fighting game, like every other anime gets. And it kind of upsets me that that one gets it and not like some of the more obvious choices. Like I feel like My Hero Academia or some of the other ones should have like a full-on just adventure game and not just a fighting game. But it seems like anime typically gets fighting game and then this one gets an adventure game.
Yeah, so it is what it is. Now, funny enough, the last reveal before the last award, the internet wasn't as kind to this. However, the people in the building was okay. This is called High Guard, which is basically from the creators of Titanfall, creators of Apex. They're telling you, well, we got another game that's also free to play PvP, that's launching very early, actually, in January 26th, 2026. And it's basically more of what you already have been playing, but they're saying, "Hey, play this." I guess instead of Apex. I'm not sure,
They're
but
assuming because they made Titanfall, everyone's going to jump to it because of how much they love Titanfall. When
yeah,
everyone just wants Titanfall 3, and we know
yeah,
it got canceled. But they thought, I think when I heard that they were doing this, I honestly thought they were just going to make Titanfall 3 but call it something else
yeah,
because they don't have the license to the word Titanfall. But I thought it was going to be clearly Titanfall,
hmm,
and it was not. Like, it
yeah,
looked sort of funky. They were riding horses while shooting guns, and I
yeah.
just didn't care.
So
I looked at it, I was
the
like, I don't care about any of this, and I wanted Titanfall.
yeah, so afterwards on the internet, it wasn't too kind. So I don't know if they got the reaction that they wanted, but there it was, the biggest last reveal. Followed up with the big announcement, the Game of the Year announcement, brought to you by the last year's winner, the guy who, the director of Trash Robot, came out and he was
You were
letting
just
us.
a hater, and he rightfully won. I will die on that hill. He was great, and yep, he got to introduce the next group.
The crowd was dope. We was seeing them throughout the night. They was all wearing the same outfit with the red hat.
Oh, the punch out.
Every now and then they was out, coming up with the class and everything, just showing, doing their thing. But yes, Game of the Year, clean sweep, I might add. Expedition 33, winning the most games of the night, or most awards of the night. I think they mentioned it was nominated the most at the Game of the Year, which I actually think is a lie. I think it was still Last of Us from whatever year that was, but whatever, we'll let them say it. But still, Expedition is the game of this year. Highly recommended. I had a blast with it. This was definitely their night. They had the performances. Their actors was winning the awards. They was winning the Indie awards and everything. One thing they did mention, this year had the most indie games in the Game of the Year list, which I thought was
Yeah,
also very interesting.
rightfully so.
But yeah, that is the show. It took over everything. I appreciated the Game of the Awards. Now I will say it was not as, the reveals and stuff was probably not as big as the one from last year. However, they did one thing that I did like. They had a lot of games where if there was release dates and stuff, it was 2026. A few things they made through the 2027 year out there, but it wasn't just like, here's something that's just like lightning, like far away, like way too far away. It was like, no, it was still stuff that was relatively coming out. Just like their big reveal at the end, a High Guard coming out in January 2026. So a lot of April stuff, a lot of May stuff. So that's how it should be. It should be, here's a game. The release date is like by summertime. You know what I mean? But that's the show. We used up all the footage. The footage is almost done. We got our other 2 gaming shows next week and some regular topics. Any last words for the people? Anything?
Dog, go find a game that you enjoy. There was a lot displayed, too many.
Yeah, make sure it's got,
Find some.
some classy, good music. None of that. You know what I'm saying? Just
The
make sure it's
music
got,
you enjoy. The music we both enjoy.
you know what I'm saying? Nice orchestra, some opera with it. You know what I'm saying? Not some nails on a chalkboard. But anyways, like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you so much. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.